Can everybody hear me well enough?
No, use the mic for the camera.
Well, I'm going to be moving around trying to draw.
No, that's okay. You got here. You're here.
Okay, I'll do that. So first of all, you guys looks like everybody's had lunch. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand up. Yeah. Everybody stand up. Yeah. Okay. Gotta get the energy going again. You're sitting there, you've got that food in your gut. You're just ready. I'm ready for a nap. So we're gonna do some jumping. No, we're not gonna do that. But first, reach as high as you can. Okay. Now everybody lean to the right. Your other right.
On the right.
And the left. You do a little stretch in the back. And reach down and try and touch those toes somewhere down there. Get close to the zip code anyway. Okay, great. There we go. Let's sit down. I'm going to ask you a question now. My crayon. Very important question. Who are you? This is interactive. Okay, so I'm not doing away. I'm just going to stand up here. Someone's going to tell me. When I ask you this question, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Kenny.
I'm Kenny.
You're Kenny.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So you are Kenny. Okay, there's Kenny. What else comes to mind? Josephine.
I'm somebody who wants to make a big difference in the world.
Okay.
I want better.
Okay. What'd you say? You got a purpose. Okay. What you do? Or goal. Okay. Dave.
Mr. Energy.
Mr. Energy. Okay.
I'm a father.
A father. Okay. So, father.
I like to assist people in having a happier, healthier life, and I am not Marilyn. My name is Marilyn.
Okay. She's not Marilyn. Excuse my chicken scratch. That's her name. Okay. So yeah, we talk about who we are. We're based. A lot of people can think about our role as a father, son, or what we do as a job. Someone says, "Oh, I'm a mechanic," or "I'm a doctor," and defines the roles. And part of that is, okay, who you are, who am I, or who are you? People ask that question. Is that what you believe you are? When you get up in the morning, is that what you're thinking about? If you want to move your business forward, and actually, isn't our business our life? If your life isn't your business, somebody say, "Oh no, your business should not be your life." Well, I know some ditch diggers. People think, "Oh, a ditch digger." First of all, I know they make some excellent money. And believe me, some ditch diggers are living in some very nice homes in Saratoga right now. But they love what they do. They're passionate about, this is my purpose. I love to dig these holes and do this because someone's got to do it. Someone's got to lay the plumbing in the ground or electrical, whatever. So that's what I love to do. So again, think about all the different things that we are and the different positions that you're in. So the idea is, when you think about it on a day-to-day basis, if it's just a role, the other problem is what happens when that role changes. And I like what several people who responded here, you have a purpose, okay? And that's important. But is that what you believe you are, or is that what you know you are? And that's another thing about it. What you are and who are you. When you talk to somebody, if you took away the titles, the name, and everything else, is that still who you are? If you woke up tomorrow and couldn't do that, who are you? I'll give you a story. I was a service station dealer for 18 years. And I woke up one day and I said, after I sold my business, 2 weeks later, after I sold my business, 18 years, 80 to 100 hours a week, fixing people's cars, servicing that, doing that. I was the shell answer man, right? So I wake up one morning after I sold my business and realize, who am I? I'm no longer the shell answer man. I don't put on the uniform and the tie and go out there and do that. So I had to reinvent myself and figure out what I'm doing. And it's vitally important because if you don't know what you're doing or where you are or who you are, you're just going to go like this back and forth throughout your life and you'll never be effective. If you want to move your business and your life forward, you've got to be focused on what it is you want to do. The others are important too, though. The roles that you play, father, brother, son, sister, mother, those are all important. And of course, those will change as time goes on too. Those roles will modify. But who you are, what is it you're doing, the core, is to think about what is that all about. And of course, those roles incorporate that. One of the things that I went through a course a few years ago called Clarity, and it was really interesting course to figure out where I am, who I am, how I turned out to be who I am. Because you look at your past, and what are the things you've been doing to get up to where you are today? And then where is it that you want to go? You know, you can be anybody you want to be. Some of the greatest people in the world, you think, oh, those guys are wonderful. Think of Lincoln, think of Churchill, think of any of your heroes you think are fabulous people. But were they that person when they started? When they grew up? No, they grew up in certain areas, they learned different things, and some of the most famous people also studied other people. The thing is that you have to figure out who does you want to be and how you're going to get there. How many people here have goals written down? Very good. Now, if you don't have goals written down, for those of you who don't, I encourage you, please, if you do nothing more than just take out a piece of paper, put something down on a piece of paper and put it away, those goals will come true. Speaking of goals, like we mentioned my daughter. My daughter knew she was going to the Olympics when she was in 5th grade. This is to talk about the ultimate goal setting and knowing who she was and where she was going. 5th grade, the school she was going to, got together, the teacher got together, all the students at the end of the year, and said, listen, we're going to put together a time capsule, and when you graduate, we only went to 8th grade at that time, we want to open up this time capsule and see what you put in there and see how your life has changed or grown, whatever, in those 3 years. Well, when she was in 5th grade, she wrote this note down and said, I am going to swim in the Olympics someday as a synchronized swimmer. And she wrote that, and of course opened that in 8th grade, but she's had that, and that's been her goal since she was in 5th grade. Now you say, oh, that's, she probably would have gotten there anyway. Maybe. But I could tell you plenty of people who have written things down and figured out who they were and where they wanted to go. Simple little notes themselves, and it comes true. So the exercise in doing that, how am I going to get there? How many people have read any good books about any? Okay, tell me about who'd you read about? Churchill. Great, I've read about him. Excellent, excellent. So what did you get from Churchill?
He was beaten down, not unlike Lincoln. He came back several occasions and just left
Okay. So did any of those principles, what principles did you take away and have you applied it to your life?
Stand up and you keep going.
Stand up and keep going. Okay. You know the adage of that you only fail if you don't get up. Right? You keep succeeding if you get up again and you got another chance. Any other books here? Anybody here reading? Chicky?
I'm my boy JC.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know that.
That's actually there was I listened to a speaker talk a few years ago, and he said, look at all the different people in history, and one of them is Jesus Christ. Whether you believe in his prophecies or not, doesn't matter. But if you just study his life as an individual and his life was documented, you think about what did he preach? And if you live by his tenets, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay? No one can say, oh, he was mean, he was this and that. I mean, and there's actually people written business books on doing business as Christ would. How would Christ, if he was CEO of a company, how would he handle it? And does anybody here think he wouldn't be successful? I mean, really, What did you read? Abraham Lincoln. Did you read Lincoln Leadership? Okay, that's a good one there. What did you read about him?
You always think in retrospect how it would be if he was the person who became.
And is that what you do with your life now? Okay, okay. So, if you wanted to be more like him, how would you improve that? How would you apply that?
I think I'm trying to understand the person you know, what their situation is, and how you would like to be accommodated if you were them.
Okay. And did you hear that Lincoln actually wrote a letter to McClellan McClellan was supposed to attack. At one point, early on in the first year of the war, he could have wiped out Lee's army one fell swoop. He had like 4 times the army. They were sitting all ready to roll, and Lincoln said, "Go ahead," and he didn't do it. Did not do it. And so he wrote a scathing letter. He was just going to really just rip this guy up one side down the other, and he never sent it. He put that in a drawer, and they didn't discover it until after he died. There was this scathing letter, never mailed. And some people ask him, "Why didn't you do something about it? Why did you?" He said, "Well, I'm not McClellan. I don't know what it is to be there, so I have to give him the benefit of the doubt that somehow, for some reason, he didn't move on that." So the patience and the retrospect. In fact, that's one lesson I've learned is if someone just ticks me off and I start writing off a nasty email, I put it in my draft. Put it in the draft folder first, and then I go back to it later on and think, do I really need to send this email? Is it important? Nah, I vented and let it go. Sometimes I go back and say, well, okay, I have to send something because I have to say something, but it's going to be a lot nicer than what I was originally going to say. And it's really important. There's so many people that, I'm sure we've all gotten those letters where people just send something off, just a nasty note, and think, what were they thinking when they sent this to me? I wasn't. Anyway, it's something that we faced. The different challenges we go through. Give me a second. So there's another formula I'm gonna put up here. There's a relationship to this. How many have heard this formula before? B times do equals half. How many have heard that? No clue? Who has no clue what that means? Okay. If you read 7 Habits, he touches on this in the 7 Habits. But what this means is, okay, if who do you have to be, and what are the things you have to do to get the things that you want to have? Okay, Kenny. So if I want to win the World Weightlifting Championship, I want to be able to press 500 pounds. Clean and jerk. What's the record? 438 or 400? I don't know what it is now.
I don't know. You're probably closer to it than I am. Guess.
Okay, but if I want to go do that, okay, I'm just going to go out and what do I have to do that?
Well, you probably have to see set a very clear goal in terms of the things that the power you have to accomplish that, the kind of mass you have to accomplish that, and set very clear goals for yourself.
Don't think I do it right now.
Well, yeah, I don't know, maybe a little bit.
On the moon, maybe on the moon, right?
Well, so just for instance, a good goal would be, I want to be a powerful 250-pound, mean sculpted individual.
Okay.
Like that would be
okay. So I want to be a mean sculpted individual and just be uber buff. Now, so what do I have to do that?
Right. Yeah, a lot of things.
A lot of work, right? I got to have the right diet. I got to exercise properly. I got to do the right training. I got to make sure I just go out tomorrow and start pumping iron and rip on my muscles, right. And then next thing I'm in the hospital, right? Same thing if you want to be a marathoner. If you want to run a marathon, you can't just go out and start running tomorrow. You got to pace yourself. If you haven't run in 6 months, if you haven't run a lick, you're going to start out with. In fact, I remember Zig Ziglar said he was trying to get in shape and lose weight. He said, first day he got out, he hadn't been running forever. He says he got out there and he ran to the mailbox. Woohoo! And he was weighed 250 pounds, and he should have been about 180. So, and each day he got a little further. So part of that doing, and make sure you understand it. But the other part of it is that what do I have to be to do that? If I'm going to do those exercises, what are the things that I'm going to have to be up here?
You're going to have to be that person.
Right. Well, you have to think about it, but also I'm going to have to be disciplined. I'm going to have to be willing to do. I'm going to have to be willing to give up other things as well. I'm going to have to be just be the person and take that image on myself and say, okay, I'm going to be this gorilla now. So same thing as if I want to have $1 million. Nice goal. I have $1 million. Well, what if you're going to get $1 million? Invest, work hard, yada yada yada. So who do I have to be to do that? I'd like to be Donald Trump. I want to be any one of those other billionaires. But if I want to be that person, what does it take for them to get there? It wasn't just to wake up one day and say, oh, I'm going to put money in this account. They had to do things to be there. So in the process of developing yourself, think about who it is that you have to be to do the things that you want to have. You want to bring your business forward. Who is it that I have to be? I have to be attractive. I have to, as far as, I know you all want to be as good looking as me, but I'm sorry. No. Attractive means, what it means is, I want to be like a magnet. I want to draw people to me. What do I have to do? What do I have to be to do that? So I have to do certain things. I have to be the person that people want to get to know. How do I do that? Well, I also have to be friendly. You know, the old adage of, to have friends, you have to be one. So it's important to do that. So think about the be, do, have. Think about all the other things that this formula fits. So one of the things that I will pass around here is you have to do some visualization, verbalization, and materialization. So one of the things you can start with is, ever heard the idea of taking, what do people want to say at your funeral, right? What do you want to say at your funeral? Eric, what do you want to hear people say at your funeral?
That I was a good friend and I was able to help as many people as I can.
Okay. Why is that important?
Because that's what I feel like I do good is I help people, I'm good friends, and I help people succeed in life.
Okay, okay. When you're dead, is that important to you?
No.
No. It's important to people that the idea is that when you, believe me, I told my wife when I pass away, I want everybody to have a party. I want everybody to have a great time because I'm better off than everybody else as far as I'm concerned at that point. Really. I mean, my time's coming up, my dance card's called, I'm ready to go. But think about it, is the people that I'm leaving behind, what am I doing for them? And thinking about who I am, where I'm going, what's the legacy I want to leave behind is important. So in the process of doing this, verbalization, visualization, and materialization. And in fact, I know this personal story. My grandfather, here's another person. Now you think that you've got to be big and famous, you've got to be a phenomenal speaker, you got to get up there and be crazy like me and talk and get really popular and make $1 million to have a big funeral, right? Right? Anybody disagree with that?
Yeah.
No. You disagree with it? Okay.
What you just said, yes.
Okay. Why?
Through personal family history, I know it's not true.
Okay. Okay. So somebody in your family passed away and it was a big deal? I mean,
They had a huge funeral.
yeah. What'd they do?
For,
Yeah.
and mid-level executive.
Okay. 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 And I'm gonna tell you a story that I'm just saying, well, I mean, great me or whatever. I'm saying is my grandfather was a master plumber in St. Paul, Minnesota. He's known in town as, you know, within the field, he was known as one of the best guys in there. But more so, the things that he did, which influenced what I like to see about myself and try and emulate what he did. People came, when he passed away, they had to attend the funeral for an extra day. 2 days, people came from miles, thousands of miles, to pay respects to him and tell my father and the family about my grandfather. And there were guys that you know, that used to work on oil rigs in Texas and used to do some pipelines in Brazil. One of these guys came from all over the place and said it was the little things that he did. Instead of having lunch with, you know, he was a foreman on the job. He was the big guy on the job, tell everybody else what to do. But he didn't go have lunch in the nice office with the other foreman. He had lunch with his workers. He made sure he lifted them up, and again, nobody ever said a bad word about my grandfather. Again, I'm not trying to brag about me. What I'm just saying is, when I heard those stories, I thought, man, how can I do that? That's phenomenal, because he touched people's lives. So in the process of figuring out who you want to be, that helps you set those goals and helps align, okay, who do I want to be, but also, if I am this person, what else can I have? Okay, my grandfather he wasn't a millionaire, and he had a nice home, he lived comfortably, worked very hard to get there, but he had a huge amount of admirers and people that were say nice things about, and that influenced the rest of the family, and the people that we deal with within the family because of that. So that's a kind of a somber story, but at the same time, it's a phenomenal story. I get goosebumps thinking about how can I do the same thing? How can I be that same person? So one of the things you do is you think about, okay, what is that person like? Everybody heard of I am statements? Everybody's a verbalization, right? Okay, I am statements. So my I am statements is, well, I'm attracting people to my business. Actually, people come to see me before I call them to come to my business. How would you like that in your business? How would you like, say, I take a 2-week vacation to Europe every year. Now that's materializing, but someone said, wait, well, okay, if I run my business properly, what do I have? If I want to take a trip to 2 weeks off every year to Europe, what do I have to do to get there? And what do I have to be to get there? How do I attract the money? How do I attract? I also have to be disciplined, because if I'm going to take 2 weeks off, I got to make sure. Well, someone's got to take care of the dogs. I got to make sure all the bills are paid. There's lots of other things to do, but I can have that. It's not impossible. Okay. If you go through and you say, okay, what else am I? I'm a great father. That's important to you. What's it mean to be the great father? Think about that identity. Identity is important in the process of saying who you are. If you put things down on your card, in fact, I've heard from several people, very successful people, that talk about what they put on their card. One guy said he got married, and his wife and he got together, and they had no money. I mean, really, like most of us would get married, got no money. And so he put on his little card. He said, we have $5,000 in the checking account. And when they got married, they said, okay, let's. He put this on the card himself. His wife did not see this, but they said they're going to try and put some money away. So over the year, she kind of squirreled away a little bit. He squirreled away a little bit. At their 1-year anniversary, he said, hey, honey, by the way, how much money we have in our checking account? She said, I don't know. In our savings account? I'm not sure. I just keep, checked out. They have $5,300 in their checking account, and he put on his card, I have $5,000 on my checking. So, what is it that you want, and who is it you want to be? Write it down. I'll pass all these out here for everybody. And it's important that if you want to be that person, how often, if you like to be around somebody, let's say you got a chum that you just love to hang out with, and you want to go there, or somebody famous that you like to hang out with and rub elbows with, how often would you like to see that person? Want to see him once a month, every year? Would you like to have coffee with that guy? If there was some guy that you want to be your mentor, how often did you want to be with that person? As often as possible. I mean, there are some people I cannot get enough time with them because they're so busy, so little they want to be part of. But there's some people in my life that are great mentors to me, and I really want to be around them whenever I can. So that's the kind of people, those kind of people that I want to be like. So in the process of writing down these I am statements, the other part of it is you got to visit once in a while. That's the other part of setting goals is that don't just, yeah, you can write that goal down and put it away somewhere. But the other thing is that you've got to review it from time to time. You've got to verbalize them, and you've got to put yourself in that. Ever heard of a thing called getting in state? When there's certain, you watch the TV, most people get in state. That's the wrong kind of state to be in. But there are certain times when you're learning something, or you're having, and you sit in that flow, things just coming to you when you start brainstorming with other people, for instance. That's in state. And if you take a little time, put yourself in kind of a learning mode or state, and review these statements twice a day, you will become that person you want to be. You know, I mean, how about this? Ever been around some people that you just finally realize, I got to get out of this group? Really? I mean, I used to work for a towing business years ago. Now, I know they say sailors have foul mouths. These guys would embarrass sailors. Really, these were horrid people, and it was a tough job. And many others, I was running the whole show, and finally I just said, I need out, because I find myself starting to bite my tongue when I'm talking to my friends and family. Some of the stuff, and not that I was trying to be crude or crass, but it's just you get influenced by that. So that's the other part of it is, if you don't want to be like somebody, then you must say, listen. You know, if someone's like in a group that's a lot of gossiping, they're doing a lot of gossiping, you just get caught up in that, right? So you have to make a choice. You have to say, wait a minute, well, listen, I think you're great people, I'd love to spend more time with you, but if you're going to take off on those kind of avenues, I can't be any part of it. because it's taken away from me and my family and my future. So you have to make those tough choices, and if they're not willing to come with you, they're going to hold you back. So just you say, hey, I love you, I think you're great people, whatever, but I'm going this direction. If you want to follow me, great. If you don't, good luck. I'm sorry, but I've got to take care of my future. So it's important that you stay away from the negatives and study the positives. Put these things down. This exercise, you might write these down, and a week from now you say, I want to modify that. That's okay. That's okay, but take some time to think about who it is you want to be, what it is that you want to do, and what it is you want to have. Because you can't, if you can't be something and have the things that don't, if how many people have $1 million cash in the bank and no problem with money, have a problem with budgeting? They don't, okay? Or a spending problem, unless they're Paris Hilton. But seriously, people that have lots of money and have lots of properties, lots of businesses, they have all the tools, they have all the be and the do. They do the things to make sure they maintain it. So think about who it is that you want to be and what the qualities that you need to have to do that. Doing, if you want to move your business forward, is what I do as a business coach. I tell people, listen, I'm going to line your activities up with your goals. If your goals are not, if your activities don't match the goals, you're not going to get there. Or maybe the goals aren't right. Maybe you keep doing, maybe you want to golf 6 days a week. Maybe you should be a golf pro instead of running a business. Maybe that's what you should be doing. So again, you got to look at both sides of the equation. Any questions? I grilled you all hard enough here? You're going to go home thinking, oh, who am I now? But seriously, it's not difficult. And the thing is that what's exciting is I know that I can change myself and become a better person today. I know I'm a better person today than I was 10 years ago. I know I'm learning more. And part of this has to do with, of course, not only writing these things down, but also reading the good books, associating with the right people. Because another statement, if you haven't heard it, I'll reiterate it again. Where you'll be 5 years from now has to do with the people you associate with and the books that you read. And you can't get enough. If you're associating with the wrong people and you're reading or not reading, if you refuse to read, I'm sorry for you. That's in fact, there was another saying. The guy says, if someone who refuses to read is no better than the guy who can't read. So there is so much great information. Pick somebody who's your idol, your hero. Read everything you can about them. You'll become a better person.
So in terms of the verbalization, Jeff, great stuff, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm curious, what are some different areas that you can set goals for yourself in terms of, there's material things, right? Yeah. I'm a person who owns this or has this. What do you give some guidance in terms of, setting goals surrounding different areas of your life?
Okay. Well, if you have a certain goal for business, okay. Part of this is knowing your numbers. If you're in business, okay, I need to make. If you're in sales and your quota is 8 sales a week, whatever business you're in, okay, you've got to know how many no's does it take to get 8 yeses? How many phone calls? If you're in telesales, how many phone calls does it take to get me so many appointments? Out of those appointments, how many people say yes? Once I do that, so now I set my goal to say, okay, you can say I'm selling 8 units a week. That's a great goal, but maybe you could start up actually back it up and say, I am making, if it takes 100 calls to get 8 sales, I am making 100 calls a week. That's who I am. I cannot, or you can even go a step back a little further. Another part of this visualization is, what if you have a challenge with something, okay? How many people here love to pick up the phone and call somebody just love to pick up the phone and call somebody? Oh, very good, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Really, but if I give you the choice of a day on the beach or phone calls, which would you choose?
Sometimes that phone weighs 500 pounds.
Sometimes the phone weighs 500 pounds.
I make calls from the beach.
What's that?
I make calls from the beach.
Yeah, there you go. Calls from the beach. You're better. The thing is that what you have to change what you're thinking is that calls are easy for me. I love getting calls. I love picking up the phone, and it's that verbiage that you have to change. There's fears that you have to work through, or whatever it might be. What is it preventing you from doing what you have to do? And then tell yourself those are things that come easy to you. Or better yet, let's say you've got to go knocking on doors. say, everybody I meet loves to talk to me. Now, when I walk into a business then, and I've been telling myself every day, everybody I talk to loves to talk to me. Now, my expectation is going to change. How? And one of the things, in fact, there was another fellow I was listening to. He said he went into this tough business negotiation, and before he went in, he used a lot of self-talk, but he also put himself in state. And he said, "Listen, this is going to be a great meeting. We're going to hit it off so well. This is going to be one of my best business meetings. This guy and I are going to hit it off. It's going to be the easiest thing in the world." So he walked in, and he was already 3 inches off the ground. And he met with this guy, and when he was done, this guy was considered a very tough candidate. He heard about a week later that from somebody else in that guy's office, that, "Well, you know that guy has been raving about you this whole week." He says, "You're the best guy he's ever talked to about business." All because he set himself up for doing that. Again, you get what you put out. So that's the other thing, talk about the law, everybody heard about law of attraction and everything else, but someone walks in like this, "Hi Marilyn, I'm Jeff. You wouldn't want to buy my barbecue, would you?"
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a great barbecue, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, okay. See, my whole countenance, right off the bat, it's, if I walk in and say, "Marilyn, how are you today? I'm Jeff Nott. Listen, I've got the
Jeff.
greatest barbecue in the world. Can I talk to you a little bit about it?"
Sure, I'd be glad to listen.
See, there's a difference in my whole countenance. So that again, who am I? Who am I? I am that person that people want to do business with me. I'm a person that they can trust. I am congruent in my business. There's so many different things to think about in how you're going to put those statements together. And it's vital that you do that. Because it's too easy, and I have to admit, I'm one of those guys that shoot from the hip a lot of times. It's too easy to do that. But if you don't plan, take a little extra time to plan it, make that and program yourself. Because once you program yourself, it comes easy. You don't have to work at it. That help?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So think about the things that the attributes that you want, or the things to happen in your business or your life. And again, your business is your life, which is something a friend of mine asked me just the other day. Here's a question I'll ask you again. Who are you? And you think about it. You made a great statement. You made a great statement. And we were talking about, well, what if I found out that yes, October 21st, yep, that's the end of the world. It's going to be that way. What am I going to do? And I thought, well, my job, my whole countenance is all about working and helping people get what they want in life. Okay, that's my whole business. That's me. That's not my business. That's my life. Okay, I want to help you do better with whatever it is. That's my job. Okay, or I shouldn't say the word job, but the idea is that's what Jeff Nott is. And so if the end of the world was October 21st, well, what am I going to do in the next 6 months? The idea, we don't know the date or the time, but, well, I'm going to try and, in the next 6 months, I'm going to try and make sure that I'm going to, spend as much time with my kids as possible. I'm going to try and help as many young people as possible. I'm going to try and manage my life as much as possible. I'm not going to squander it all and put it all on the crap tables or have whatever, or sell it off and move to Tahiti, even though much attractive that is. But the idea is that that's who I am. And if I'm not doing those now, why would I do them in the end times? If I knew that, next week, my dance card called, why didn't I do that ahead of time? Why didn't I tell my kids today that I love my kids? Why didn't I help my neighbor who's got a problem? Or just if he needs help, just taking out the trash because he's on vacation. So, it's still important what we do. Again, who we are should be the essence of what we do in everything that we do. And again, if you're a ditch digger, then dig ditches with all your heart. And the thing is, somebody's going to appreciate that. Somebody out there appreciates what you do.
Jeff, I really loved your comment about the time capsule, and I was just thinking how powerful it is for us to do what you're suggesting, write down who we are, and maybe there's some way that successful thinkers can hold on to that, and we see where we are collectively in a year's time or 6 months.
Sure.
I think it would be really powerful. I love
Good idea.
it.
Very good idea. Because that's something to think about. Where do successful thinkers want to be? And it's part of that, as I said earlier, it's your group here. They say this is what you want. So what do you want out of that too? That's something else. You want to put that in there, because if you put your goal is the successful thinkers, and Sonoma Chicken Coop has 100 people every week, then what's going to do your psyche? So that reminds me of something else. You ever heard of the reticular activating system? Anybody heard of that? Okay. What the reticular activating system is part of your brain, and this is an ancient piece of your brain that most people don't think about these days. But your brain naturally, if you're thinking you're a caveman, and you're out there walking around and you're looking for food, okay, your mind is ding, 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 ding. It is wired in a way. It's not worried about the trees. It's not worried about the weather. It's not worried about anything else. It's worried about, I'm trying to find that rabbit, and the eye's going to be looking directly for it. Okay, we're wired that way. We're wired to do things. Or if I'm in an area where there's danger, I'm worried about the saber-toothed tiger, whatever is going to eat me up. My activating system is going to be looking for things that are going to make sure I'm going to protect myself. Okay, the reticular activating system used today is who's got a favorite car that they really want? Give me an example of a car. Who's got a
70 CUDA.
a 1970 Barracuda? What color do you want?
CUDA.
Cuda.
Yeah. Either black or red would be cool.
Okay, black or red. Okay, what color interior would you like?
Interior?
Yeah.
Well, black would be nice, but that's hot.
Okay, well, but you keep it covered in the side.
Right, probably the garage
Okay.
all the time anyway.
So, today, and every one of you, who knows what a CUDA looks like? Okay. The people that know what a CUDA looks like, you know you're going to see a couple in the next couple of days. All of a sudden there's going to, you haven't seen one in weeks or months, but all of a sudden there's one there because I've set your RAS, your RAS, to think about looking for a CUDA. Okay? And it's going to be a red one or a black one probably show up. Okay? But part of that, when I was doing two things with you. One is I'm setting your RAS to look for those, but the other thing is I'm honing you in on your goal. That's the other thing about making these goals. Be specific about what you want. Okay? If you don't be specific, well, I want a car. Okay? Now some people, they don't care what kind of car it is, they can understand that. They've got
4 wheels.
But yeah, 4 wheels, right. Give me a Rolls Canardly. The idea though is that you set specific goals. Okay, I want a blue Ferrari 308 GTS that's a 1975 with a target top. Now, if that's my goal, I'm going to find those, and I will find a way. My brain is going to start finding out how can I make that happen. If I have a goal this week to close so much business, how can I make it happen? Verbalization will help you do that. Visualization will help you do that. Materialization will help you do that. Focus, focus, focus. And you know you can be who you are, and you'll have what you want. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.